Our next speaker, somebody you would definitely all know, and you will definitely have all heard speak before, a good friend of mine and a real good friend to grassroots animal protection movement across the country and beyond. I want to hand over now to Dominic Dyer, Policy Advisor to Born Free. Thanks.
Thank you very much. I just want to say it's really wonderful. This is an army of care and compassion for elephants and rhinos and wildlife. Let's just have a big round of applause for everyone here in Downing Street today. You know, so much that we talk about when it comes to protecting elephants and rhinos and other endangered species is about human corruption, human ignorance, and human greed. We have it in our hands to protect the future of the world that we share these wonderful animals with, and we have it in our hands to destroy everything around us, and in the end we'll destroy our own futures as well. Wouldn't you agree? Yeah! And I'd like to take politicians who dither, who never take a decision, who think about it, who put off the hard choices, to see a dead elephant. I went a few years ago with the Kenyan Wildlife Service on patrol and saw an elephant that had been killed about 2 days before by poachers. The smell, the sight, the horror will never leave me of such a beautiful animal left with its trunk ripped apart, with its ivory disappeared into some market in Asia somewhere, and this beautiful animal that maybe had 30, 40 years of life ahead of it, rotting in the sun with the maggots and flies. That would never ever be something that these politicians could forget. But most of them will never see that. They'll only hear about it. And that's the difference. That's why we've got to get across this message today. In 1979, we had 1.3 million elephants in Africa. We probably have less than 400,000 today. Of savanna elephants, we've lost 30% of them. 30% in the last 7 years. Forest elephants, we've lost 2/3 in the last decade. Less than 50,000 left today. 20,000 rhinos, losing over 1,000 a year. Do any of us think this tragedy should go on, do we? No! And what do we get? Oh, we'll think about having domestic ivory bans. We'll think about it. We've got no time to think about it. Wouldn't you agree? Yeah! I'm sick to death of programs like the Antiques Roadshow, like Flog It. They get millions of viewers celebrating ivory and rhino horn as something of beauty, something that we can flog to make money out of. No, it's something of cruelty and destruction. It should not be on those programs anymore. It's a disgrace and it should stop. No, Theresa May, I do not believe that you can enforce any rule on antique ivory. DEFRA's lost half its staff in the last 5 years. There's no resources there to enforce it. The Wildlife Crime Unit fights for its survival every year. It's only people here in this crowd who fought so hard to keep it going. But they don't have the resources to do this. Local authorities don't have the resources to do this. So you can say on paper that you will enforce a 70-year rule. But do any of us believe it's going to be enforced properly, do we? No! We're going to see more fraud. And it's a green light to the poachers to keep pouring in the ivory, keep pouring in the rhino horn, and it's got to stop. And if we can't stop it here in Britain, how can we tell China to stop it, or Japan or other countries to stop it? We've got to set the example here, wouldn't you agree? Yeah! And if our European Union friends are being lobbied by Namibia and by South Africa and Botswana and other countries to put off an Appendix 1 uplisting agreement and to say that we can't take a difficult decision on domestic trade, we're in Brexit territory now. We're breaking with them on Europe. We better break with them on this as well. Make a stand and say we don't agree with them anymore. Yes, and Andrea Leadsom should go to the CITES conference in Johannesburg with the full support of Boris Johnson and Theresa May to say we will not support the European Union view. The UK government will support uplisting, and not only that, we'll introduce a complete ban on all ivory trading in the UK, and we will set the example to the rest of the world. Yeah. Wouldn't you agree? And it's not only that. I've been talking to politicians for years, and thankfully some like Zach Goldsmith, and I hope some like Boris Johnson are beginning to listen. We spend over £13 billion a year on foreign aid in this country, 0.75% of our GDP, more than anywhere else in Europe. Yet none of that goes on human-wildlife conflict in Africa, India or other countries. It is spent on good humanitarian work. I wouldn't doubt the importance of that. But wouldn't you agree That if we could just spend a small amount of that money helping people in Africa and India to protect the wildlife that brings in so much revenue through tourism, that gets their kids to school, that gives them hospital treatment, that gives them social care, that gives their children a better life, that's worth doing. And that's what we should be calling for. Because that's our taxpayers' money, and we should have a say in how it's spent. And we have big military budgets in Britain across NATO. Yet African countries on the front line of this battle against poachers, the meddling cartels and others that are coming in with the sophisticated helicopters, high-powered rifles, night vision equipment, they're going up against poor people fighting back this force with old Lee Enfield rifles or rusty guns and poor training. Do any of us think that's acceptable? These people are dying trying to protect the future of Africa's wildlife. And it's about time that countries like Britain gave them more support, wouldn't you say? And even in the most developed country in Africa, if you look at the Kruger National Park, geographically the size of Israel, it's got 3 helicopters to patrol the whole national park to hold off poachers that are threatening some of the biggest elephant and rhino herds left in the world. Should we not do more with our military to help the South African government, to help the Kenyan government, deploy helicopters, military personnel, drones and expertise so they can protect their wildlife for the future? Is not a good use of our defence budget, would you say? And I'll say this to Japan. I fight with Japan every day. It's a country I have huge respect for, one of the most developed countries in the world. Its economy, its innovation technology brings huge benefits to us all. But it has a blind spot sometimes when it comes to wildlife conservation, be it on whaling or be it on Taji dolphins and campaigns you're familiar with. But the Japanese are saying they still want to keep their domestic ivory market open. They want to keep the ivory carving shops open. We have to say to Japan, enough is enough. If China makes the move, if America makes the move, if African countries make the move, if Britain makes the move, you must do so as well. Wouldn't you agree? We are at a tipping point, but never ever underestimate the importance of public pressure. You are making a difference here. By coming together in cities like here, in New York, in Cape Town, across Africa, Johannesburg and other places, the world is waking up today to the threat of Africa's elephants and rhinos like never before. The social media explosion we've seen in this country and around the world is having huge influence over the future of this debate. You have power that you could never have dreamt of a few years ago. The images you share of these animals, the demands you make of our governments to make protection measures work is beginning to have an impact. And let me tell you this, there is no justification for trophy hunting anymore. If any of you have seen that Sky News report yesterday from Namibia, where the Sky News reporter went out with the American hunter that was so ashamed he wouldn't show his face from Texas, with a so-called professional hunter that was going to take the bull elephant from the herd, separate it, shoot it cleanly so the American hunter could take the ivory home. But it didn't work out that way, did it? If you watch the program, you could see they didn't get a clean shot on the elephant. They wounded it. It took them 4 hours of going through the bush to kill that bull elephant off in the most horrific way, so that American hunter could have its one remaining piece of ivory to take home to his house in Dallas in Texas. And he could be a proud man of what he achieved. Do any of us feel the future of protecting Africa's elephants is to shoot them and kill them in our way? No! We have a choice now. Introduce protection, uplisting for all Africa's elephants. Stop the domestic trade in ivory in every one of these countries. Channel our international aid budgets into giving defence support on the ground to African countries to protect their wildlife. Educate through programmes we have with the British Council, the Foreign Office, in places like China, a new generation, many of whom study in this city, but the future for them is to show their country will no longer be a home for big demand for ivory products or rhino horn. Do all of you agree that's the way forward? Yeah. We won't lose this battle. If we lose it, it'll be an ecological disaster, but it'll be a human disgrace, and it won't happen. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dom.